Dr. Sarah Chen wiped the sweat from her brow as she stared at the massive crystalline structure dominating the research bay. The Valtharan artifact hummed with an otherworldly energy that made her teeth ache, its translucent surfaces pulsing with veins of amber light. Around her, the finest xenotechnology specialists from across the galaxy worked in frustrated silence. "Still nothing?" asked Commander Reeves as he approached her workstation. Sarah shook her head. "The Zephyrians have been at it for 3 cycles. The Caraxians brought their best quantum engineers. Even the Ethereals are stumped." She gestured toward the floating jellyfish-like beings whose thought tendrils flickered with agitation. "This thing is supposed to be a terraforming catalyst, capable of transforming dead worlds into garden paradises in mere decades. But every time we try to activate it," as if summoned by her words, a brilliant flash erupted from the artifact. The assembled alien scientists recoiled as harsh electromagnetic pulses fried their delicate instruments. The Zephyrian team leader, a crystalline being named Hextar, chittered in dismay as his bio-neural interface sparked and went dark. "Same result," Sarah muttered. "It's like the device recognizes our attempts to activate it and actively resists." The Valthara had vanished from the galaxy over 10,000 years ago, leaving behind only ruins and artifacts that defied comprehension. This particular device had been discovered in the dead system of Kepler 442, floating in the void between planets. Initial scans suggested it was the key to understanding Valtharan terraforming technology, knowledge that could transform the galaxy's approach to colonization. But 3 months of careful study had yielded nothing but failures and fried equipment. Dr. Yeshka, the expedition's lead ethereal researcher, drifted closer to Sarah's station. The alien's translucent form rippled with bioluminescent patterns of frustration. "The harmonic frequencies are all wrong," it pulsed in the common tongue. "We have tried every known resonance pattern, every mathematical sequence the Valthara left behind. The device remains inert." Sarah nodded absently, her eyes fixed on the readouts from her jury-rigged monitoring equipment. Unlike the sophisticated, alien instruments, her devices were crude by galactic standards: repurposed mining scanners, modified atmospheric processors, and good old-fashioned electromagnetic sensors. But they were still functioning while everything else had been reduced to expensive scrap. "What if we're overthinking this?" she said suddenly. Commander Reeves raised an eyebrow. "Meaning?" "Look at this." Sarah pulled up a holographic display, showing the device's energy patterns. "Every time we try to interface with it using conventional xenotech protocols, it goes haywire. But watch what happens when it's left alone." The display showed the artifact's baseline energy state, a steady, rhythmic pulse that reminded Sarah of something familiar, something organic. "It's like a heartbeat," she whispered. Hextar's crystalline form chimed disagreement. "Impossible." The Valthara were known for their precision. Their technology operated on quantum-level exactitudes, not biological approximations. But Sarah was already moving, her hands flying over her makeshift control panel. She began adjusting the input frequencies not to match the mathematical perfection the other teams had attempted, but to mirror the slight irregularities in the artifact's natural rhythm. "Dr. Chen, what are you doing?" Dr. Yeshka pulsed nervously. "Something stupid," Sarah grinned. "I'm treating it like it's alive." The other scientists watched in growing alarm as Sarah's crude human equipment began synchronizing with the artifact. Her instruments weren't trying to control or command the device. They were having a conversation with it. The amber veins in the crystalline structure began to pulse brighter. The harsh electromagnetic interference faded to a gentle hum, and for the first time in 3 months, the artifact's defensive systems didn't activate. "Impossible," breathed Hextar. "How are you?" "Humans don't just build tools," Sarah said, her eyes never leaving her readouts. "We make them part of ourselves. We personify them, name them, talk to them. My grandmother used to pat her old hover car's dashboard when it wouldn't start." The artifact was responding now, its internal structures rearranging themselves in patterns that made the alien scientists gasp. Deep within its core, systems that had been dormant for millennia began to awaken. "The Valthara weren't just advanced," Sarah continued, her voice filled with wonder. They were empathic. Their technology wasn't programmed, it was raised, like children, like partners. Commander Reeves stared at the increasingly active device. And you figured this out because every human engineer knows you don't fight with your equipment when it's being stubborn. You coax it. You find its rhythm and work with it, not against it. The artifact suddenly flared with brilliant light, and holographic displays materialized around the chamber. Star charts, atmospheric compositions, biological templates, the complete Vialtharan terraforming database, freely offered after 10,000 years of silence. Dr. Yeshka's bioluminescent patterns shifted to amazement. In all our cycles of study, we never considered emotional resonance as an activation protocol. Sarah grinned as she began downloading the precious data to her gloriously unsophisticated human storage systems. That's because you all assumed the Vialthara were like you. Logical, precise, predictable. But what if they were like us? What if they built their technology the way we do, not as tools, but as extensions of themselves? The artifact pulsed once more, almost contentedly, and Sarah could swear she felt something like gratitude in its harmonics. Around the chamber, the galaxy's finest minds stood in stunned silence as a human engineer accomplished with intuition and empathy what their advanced science had failed to achieve. The terraforming catalyst hummed peacefully, ready at last to share its ancient secrets with beings who understood that the most sophisticated technology in the universe still needed sometimes to be treated with a gentle touch. Sarah patted the side of her cobbled-together control panel affectionately. "Good girl," she whispered, and somewhere in the quantum depths of the artifact, 10,000-year-old Valtheran programming seemed to smile back.